Today we have an LG dishwasher that isn't draining, and this one's about 8 years old, and we're going to go over how to replace the drain motor. So this one's already has had the kick plate at the bottom taken off by removing 2 Phillips head screws, and then once you get that off, this power plug comes out on the left by pinching it and pulling it back. Also, the customer had already removed 2 rubber straps that are holding the motor up against the frame. So they already had done some of the work. What I'm going to do now is take the top piece, the white piece, off of this gray piece. And the top piece is the actual motor where the impeller is and also where the motor is located. Before doing any of this, I think it's really wise to try to do the drain command, which you'll see a little bit later in the video, and also maybe to check the air gap, the little thing up by the kitchen faucet, to see if it might be clogged, because that's more commonly why an LG dishwasher won't drain. But in this case, this drain motor was just getting tired, so it would drain early in the cycle, and then near the end of the cycle it wouldn't drain anymore. So we know that the motor needs to be replaced. If your machine's younger than 5 years, I would say it's probably not the drain motor, and it's probably an obstruction somewhere in the drain line. So I'm going to grab the upper piece here. I'm going to turn it to my left. I'm pushing down with my thumb on the gray part. There's a little tab. And I'm also now using a pair of channel locks to help twist this to my left, the upper piece, to get it out. So doing it by hand, probably you could do it, but it's really difficult. Grabbing it with a big pair of pliers called channel locks or adjustable pliers makes it a lot easier. So here's the old one. It spins fine, but I think the windings were just getting weak, so as it would get hotter it would not work as well. I'm using my finger to just feel down in this area to see if there's anything that may be obstructing it. Be a little careful when you do that, because there could be some shards of glass, so just use a very low pressure and see if there's anything in there. It felt good though, nothing in there. I'm going to take this rubber seal off of the old one and put it onto the new motor assembly. I'll put a link in the description below to get this motor assembly. Putting a little bit of liquid detergent on my finger and rubbing that over the rubber seal, and that's going to make it a little bit slippery and easier for this new motor to get into position. When I put the new motor in, I want the power jack, the part where the power plug goes in, pointed to my left. And I'm going to get this down, seated fairly low in the beginning. You kind of see how this white tab where my index finger is, it's right there. And now I'm going to start pushing this to my right. I'll use these big channel locks to help me. I'm going to grab with my right hand the gray lower aspect. I'm going to twist with my left hand in the channel locks. I'm going to twist the white motor to my right until it won't go any further, and that's going to lock it into place. I'll grab onto that lower thing, and it does take a fair amount of force. There we go. So that locked in. It did turn, moved about an inch. So that's in the locked position. And now I'm going to put the power plug back in. End up wiping this dry because it got a little wet. I want to make sure that it's nice and dry. Make sure you have this unplugged before you start picking up the power jack, because it could have power. So we're going to just push that in and make sure it clicks in. It's fully seated. And then I'll add the little rubber pieces that help hold the pump into position. I'll loop it over right here, and then I'll go ahead and put it right over this tab on the pump housing. Then I'll do the same thing on the right hand side. There's another one. So I'll loop it over, and then I'll put it onto the tab on the pump housing. And then you're pretty much done. You can give it a try and see if it's improved. Here's the air gap thing up by the kitchen faucet. I opened that up just to make sure there wasn't something stuck in there. Sometimes you find that that's where the clog is. So I turned it on, power, I picked the short cycle, and then I'm going to close it and just let it fill up with water. It's going to take about maybe 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes for it to fill up with some water to do a test. While it's filling up, I'm going to look down where I did the work to make sure there's no leak. If you don't get it twisted in to the right far enough, you may have a slight leak, so you want to monitor that while it's filling. And also when you set it to drain, you want to take a look at it too. So I'm going to press these two buttons together. These are the ones that activate the drain system. And if you look carefully, it'll actually say cancel and drain. It'll help you to see which buttons to press. I can hear it gurgling. I can see water coming out of the air gap. So I know it's draining. I know the drain's working. I did find too that the big black tube that went from the air gap to the garbage disposer was full of junk. So I did clean that out too. That was probably part of what led to the problem. So this is the kick plate. We're going to put it back in position underneath the door, and I'll add the 2 Phillips head screws that hold it on. So again, this is about an 8-year-old dishwasher. The customer said that it would drain fine, but near the end of the cycle, the drain motor wouldn't do as well and finally just stopped. So that motor was just getting worn out. But if it's 5 years or younger, it's probably something else like a clog at the air gap, or maybe where the drain tube enters into the garbage disposal. All right, then we'll just tighten up those 2 screws, and we got it. I think it's good once you do this repair to actually run the quick cycle and let it do its filling and circulation and draining several times just to confirm that it definitely solved the problem. In this case, it did. We tested it. It worked great. So hopefully this will help you to get yours going. And I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll have the link in the description below. Thanks so much for watching our video. We really appreciate your support. And when you get a chance, please press the subscribe button below so you can be subscribed, and also the notification bell so we can send you more videos about appliance repair. Please also give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. If you really liked the video and it really helped you, please press this new applaud button and you can show your support and also get a nice clapping hands for your video. Thanks again.